One of the most difficult and challenging dents to repair. Dent on a cowl of Jeep Wrangler. Watch this video to see what tools and techniques I use. And that's the dent that we're gonna be working on. Very deep dent. Don't look at the size. It may look like it's $50, very easy. Look like, yeah, it's not exactly easy, and one of the most difficult dents you will ever have to face. And probably your first attempt fixing this dent would be you're gonna end up cracking the paint, you're gonna end up causing more damage to it, and you definitely don't want to do that. So if you follow the steps, you can see what I'm doing and how I am fixing this dents of this size, of this location. So what I'm gonna do here, first my step, you saw me setting up the heat gun. You want a lot of heat on this dent. You want to make sure that the paint stays flexible, it's hot, it's flexible, and you don't cause any pork marks, you don't cause any paint cracks. That's the key here. So another tip when you repair these dents, and never rush. You don't want to just rush and get done with it. It's not going to happen. You want to take your time and repair it properly. Once you start rushing, if you don't have time and you want to make it quick, don't do it. Don't repair it. You're gonna cause damage. So you need the time with this dent, and you need the patience. So that's the key thing about repairing this dent. So my first step is to get this paint hot. My second step is to get the right tool to start with this dent. I'm using a flat bar from Dent Dial. It's a light duty bar, 35-inch long. I've wrapped the end of that bar with some electrical tape, and as you can see, I pushed the dent as much as I could without causing any poke marks on the paint. So now my next step is knockdown session. Once you push the metal, you're basically raising the metal everywhere around the dent up. It goes up in the air, so you have to knock it down with this knockdown tool. And that's what this dent looks like right now. The most difficult part in this dent is that little tiny pit, the center of the dent. That's the most difficult part in this kind of dents. They usually don't want to come out immediately. It takes time. You have to go back and forth, pushing, knocking down, pushing and knocking down, just to be able to get that small little pit out. So my next tool I'm gonna be using for this project is a raised snake from Stanliner tools. I purchased this tool about a year ago at some kind of event, and I'll be honest with you, I was very skeptical about these tools, and I actually had to call the guy who makes these tools and ask him a bunch of questions, and I wasn't sure about these tools. But luckily, I went to the event, and he was there and with his tools, and I had all the questions answered, and I had a chance to fill them in person. And I'll be honest with you, this is probably one of the best tools right now in the market. And yes, they're expensive. And one of my tools, I'm not sure about this one, but one of the tools that I purchased, I paid about $300 for it. I think it was $270 or something. So right now I'm using this raised snake FlatHead from Stanliner tools. The reason why I like using this tool is because it's soft. It has a very soft head, where I don't have to apply any electrical tapes, Tessa tapes, or any other tapes that people tend to use in paintless dent repair industry. I don't have to make that tip soft. That head is so polished well, it doesn't leave any. If you use it correctly, it doesn't leave any marks basically on a surface. As you can see, I'm using my step stool, trying to elevate myself sometime. You know, I wanna be able to see this dent in all different angles. I wanna go up and down, up and down. This original video on this repair was about hour and a half, and you can see that this video is the only 13 and a half minutes, 14 minutes long. I downsized this video, but a lot of stuff I was going from all angles, like I mean literally from the bottom of the car, like checking in all possible angles, going as far as like the rear door, checking in all different angles, and getting back to the rear door and setting up my light as far as I could so I can see all little flows at the end. And that's one of the keys to get a perfect repair. So right now we're in this stage. A lot of metal that is sticking out. We want to use our knockdown tool to knock down all the highs. Again, it's not gonna happen right off the bat that you're gonna get a perfect result. No matter how good you are in Paintless Dent Repair, it's not going to happen. This is a very difficult dent, and it requires time. Like I said, the most difficult part in this dent is that small little dimple right in the center of the dent. That's the part that gives you the most hard time. It doesn't want to come out immediately. It just wants to be played a little more than anything else. So I have to go back again with my Stanliner tool. You know, it's interesting that this car, the owner of this car, he drove all the way from Delaware, which is about hour, maybe hour and a half driving. So he called everyone in his area, all dent repair technicians, all of them, and only one said he might be able to fix that. And guess what? At the end, he said, you know what? I'm not feeling comfortable taking this dent out for you. So I'm assuming the guy wasn't sure. Again, this dent looks very easy, but it's not easy. It is one of the most difficult dents you can probably challenge yourself. And I'll be honest with you, it's my not my first but my second dent when I was repairing on a Jeep. Same exact dent. I actually because I was moving the metal so far without knowing, and I think I didn't put enough heat. I put the split in the paint, and yeah, that was it was my repeat customer's car. But yeah, things happen, and it happened to me as well. So if it happens to you, don't be surprised. So my next tool is gonna be this double bend tool that I use on motorcycle tanks. I got this tool as a set for the motorcycle dent repair, and it works excellent. It's easy to use, very thick rod, and somehow I feel I feel good having it in my hand. Like the grip, it wouldn't slide, it wouldn't, I mean, it's just different feeling somehow. Much better feeling having it in your hand than regular tool. So right now we're in a stage where I'm doing a lot of pushing, knocking down, going back and forth. This is actually one of the most difficult stages right now when it comes to perfecting this dent. I still see some imperfections there, and I just can't get this waves out. without creating access. So I need to create access. I need to be able to get it from different angle, and for that reason I'm gonna have to take that trim apart, and there is a small opening. I'm gonna use this hook from what is it, Dentcraft Tools? From Dentcraft Tools, and use this hook and basically work in that angle, from that angle, you know, perfecting this little waves. There we go. A little bit more knockdown work. Also, another thing that I wanted to mention to you is that when you work on a dents like this, you always wanna you always wanna change the angle of your light. You see me a lot going from one position to another position, changing my light constantly from place to place, different angles, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. And I highly recommend doing this as well if you want to achieve a great result. Without cross-checking, you're not gonna be able to perfect this dent of this difficulty. And also, I don't recommend perfecting from one angle only, because as soon as you flip that light in different angle, you're gonna see all imperfections, and you're gonna see a lot of stuff from different angle, and you may get frustrated because of that. I totally understand. I've been there, so so now looks great. I like the results. I'm satisfied with that. I'm gonna replace that small trim back in its place, and that's our finished result. Looks great. What's interesting is the customer is waiting in the waiting area, right? And I go to a customer and I say, okay, all done. And I went to wash my hands, and all I hear is perfect. The guy is yelling in the shop, perfect. So that's the kind of customers I'm looking for always to work with, you know. The kind of guys that willing to come all the way from Delaware or DC or Virginia just to get things right the first time. So and who really want that, you know, that's kind of repair done on their cars. So that's what it looks like now, and I showed you before. You saw what it was before. It looked ugly. Now it looks like nothing happened there. Absolutely great results. And that's what it looks like outside in the sun. Alright, so if you guys have any questions, comments, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to answer all of them. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.